Here's a question for you. If your car broke down tomorrow and the repair cost $800, could you cover it without using a credit card? For most people, the answer is no. In fact, over half of adults can't even cover a $1,000 emergency. And that's just the beginning. Today, I'm going to reveal the shocking money statistics of the average person. These numbers are going to surprise you, maybe even scare you, but they'll also show you exactly why the average financial path is broken and how you can avoid it. Stick around, because the last stat about retirement will blow your mind. Welcome back to the channel, where we break down the money habits, strategies, and financial truths that schools never taught you. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, or you simply want to get ahead of the average person financially, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you find any of these stats shocking, or you've personally experienced them, drop a comment below. Let's jump in. Emergency fund crisis. Let's start with emergencies, because life happens whether you're ready or not. According to the latest surveys, 57% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency expense without borrowing money. That means a single flat tire, a dental bill, or even a broken laptop could push more than half the country into debt. Think about how stressful that is. You're not just dealing with the emergency, you're also panicking about how to pay for it. Now, here's the shocking part. Financial experts recommend an emergency fund of at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses. But the reality is, most people don't even have 1 month's worth saved. This is why the first step to escaping the average financial trap is to build that emergency fund. It doesn't have to be huge right away. Start with $500, then $1,000, and slowly grow it. That alone will put you ahead of over half the population. Crushing debt. Now, let's talk about debt, because this is where things get really ugly. The average household has over $6,000 in credit card debt. And with interest rates averaging over 20%, that means many people are paying thousands of dollars each year just in interest, not even touching the actual balance. And it's not just credit cards. The average student loan balance is around $37,000. The average new car payment is now over $700 per month. For a used car, it's about $500 per month. Add it all up, and it's no wonder people feel broke, even those making decent salaries. Debt has become a normal part of life for the average person. But here's the truth. The banks and credit card companies want you to believe it's normal because it makes them rich. If you want to break free, you have to flip that script. Instead of paying 20% interest to a bank, imagine investing that money and earning 7% instead. The difference over 10 years is life-changing. Retirement savings disaster. Here's where it gets downright scary. Retirement savings. Nearly half of Americans over age 55 have zero retirement savings. Zero. And for the ones who do have something saved, the median 401k balance is only about $60,000. Let's put that into perspective. If you retire at 65 and live another 20 years, that's only $3,000 a year, or about $250 a month. You can't survive on that. This is why so many people end up working into their 70s or relying solely on Social Security, which averages just over $1,900 a month. That's barely enough to cover rent in many cities. The truth is, the average retirement plan isn't really a plan at all. It's hoping that somehow things work out. And hope is not a strategy. But here's the good news. You don't need a huge salary to retire comfortably. Even investing $200 to $300 a month, starting in your 20s or 30s, can grow into hundreds of thousands by retirement, thanks to compound interest. The earlier you start, the less you need to put in, living paycheck to paycheck. Let's talk about day-to-day living. Around 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and here's the crazy part. That includes households earning over $100,000 a year. That means even high-income earners often have nothing left over at the end of the month. Why? Lifestyle inflation. When people make more money, they don't save more. They spend more. Bigger house, nicer car, more vacations, more subscriptions. And at the end of the day, they're just as broke as they were before, only with nicer stuff. This is why income alone doesn't make you wealthy. Wealth isn't about how much you make. It's about how much you keep. The average person is stuck because they confuse looking rich with actually being rich. Net worth reality. Now let's zoom out and look at net worth, the true measure of financial health, the number that shows whether you're really moving forward or just spinning your wheels. The median net worth for people under 35 is only about $14,000. That's everything they own combined: savings, cars, furniture, and even the value of their home, minus any debt they owe. By the time people reach ages 35 to 44, that number rises to about $91,000. On the surface, it sounds like progress. But when you factor in mortgages, car loans, and other liabilities, it's not nearly as strong as it seems. Meanwhile, at the very top, the richest 1% of households hold over 30% of the nation's total wealth. Think about that for a moment. A tiny fraction of people control nearly a third of all money and assets, while millions of others are struggling just to pay their bills and save a little each month. This wealth gap isn't just large, it's enormous. The average person is barely keeping their head above water, trying to save what little they can, while the wealthy are playing an entirely different game. They aren't simply saving, they're buying assets, businesses, investments, and properties that generate more wealth without requiring their constant effort. The lesson here? Don't aim to be average, because average means living paycheck to paycheck and never feeling secure. Instead, start thinking differently, acting differently, and making financial decisions that position you to rise above the crowd, breaking the cycle. So what's the takeaway from all these shocking money stats? The average person is broke, drowning in debt, and unprepared for emergencies or retirement. But you don't have to be average. Build an emergency fund. Destroy high-interest debt. Invest consistently, even small amounts. And avoid lifestyle inflation like the plague. If you just do those 4 things, you'll already be ahead of the majority of people. These stats might be shocking, but they don't define you. The average financial path is broken, but you can choose a different one. If this video opened your eyes, drop a like, subscribe for more financial truth bombs, and let me know in the comments. Which of these money stats shocked you the most? Thanks for watching, and remember, financial freedom is built one smart decision at a time.